Everybody, welcome back with the Plat. The Bazaar is a pay-to-win piece of shit, and we're going to talk about why we not only believe that, but we could prove it with science. No, I am joking. That is going to be the clickbait, I suppose. But me and Laliette, we wanted to do more topical videos, and basically there was this Reddit post where someone was talking about how the Bazaar is pay to win, and some aspect this is true, but I wouldn't use it as such a blanket statement. There's definitely nuance to it. But Laliette, first of all, hello. If you want to introduce yourself, you can. But do you also want to give us a rundown of what this video is about, why we're making it?
Yeah, so basically this is a pro auto battler player, pro streamer, whatever you want to call it, who used to play backpack battles, and the exact same issue that we're going to talk about today existed in backpack battles. He made a post about it on their Reddit. They ended up fixing it, so I do 100% believe this will be fixed, right? So as much as we, like the clickbait bait for the views and everything, this is a very easily fixable thing. The problem only exists in Legend, and we're going to talk about why it's an abusive mechanic, and it's not good for the game.
Got it. And so when we say, or when anyone, he's saying when we're saying it's pay to win, this is not applying to people one in unranked mode. This is not applying to people in when you're leveling up on your way to legend, right? Because you have to just go in, or like it's mostly from a ladder standpoint when you hit into the legend ranked. Why does anyone even? Why is it pay to win? So basically, it's going to come down to maybe Laliette will be able to help me with some of the more nuance of it, but basically, it's the MMR system, and it seems to calculate your prestige and your days into the. No, I don't think anyone has the formula down exactly correctly yet, but basically, if you spend 100 coins, whatever, 100 shards, and go into a ranked game, if you go to the end of the first day before the PvP fight, you can concede and you will not lose any MMR. You will maintain exactly where you are because the game will see you have 0 wins, 0 losses on day one or whatever, and it's like that's MMR neutral basically because I assume that's in case of a disconnect or some if maybe they mess something up and you lose your run, they don't want you to lose MMR because who knows. But that's essentially it. So if you have money, because you could buy the shards for basic, you have to buy them in $5 increments right now, but every dollar is to enter. And so if you got a big fat wallet, you could just re-roll in ranked mode as much as you want to get the best start, to give yourself the best chance to win if you're willing to throw away a dollar every single time that you do that. And it does seem like there are people doing this because there are incentives to do this, but they're not really in the game. They are in the sense where if you're the number one ranked player in the world or the number two ranked player in the world and you're trying to be a content creator, being able to say you're the number one ranked player in the world. I'm not calling out these people. They might literally be the best people in the world and never do this. But I'm saying that there is a incentive here if you want to rank up and be in the top of the game to spend money to re-roll your first days. Is there nuance there that I'm forgetting to mention, Laliette?
No, I think that's pretty good. And I do want to make it clear that Pink Beaver, who is the person who made this post, not to be confused with Purple Platypus, but nonetheless, um, if that name makes you have less confidence in what he says, I don't blame you. But he does say that that it is based on the days. Now, most people I've talked to think it's based on the amount of prestige, because when you use Genie Lamp, they've had like more positive gains in ranking. But it's really hard to calculate that if you're not at the top of the leaderboard, because if you're not looking at your MMR, which you wouldn't really unless you're at the top of the leaderboard. Like we did look at ours just because he did link, the MMR website that shows that on the back end, which is kind of cool. And Platt is like 100 plus MMR above me, which is important. But nonetheless, bragging rights, on the on the
That's right.
channel. But that 100 MMR is like we're almost 1,000 apart. You know what I mean? So it's like. Um, that's a big difference in ranking, right? Out of a player base of less than 120,000 people. So I do think it's really interesting, and I work with statistical distributions and stuff and correlative numbers. So if you want to pull up the listing again, like I'm not going to accuse anybody of doing this, but we know some people are doing this, whether they're at the top or not, right? Like that's
Hmm.
just once somebody finds out about this, I would do this if it interested me. It just doesn't, you know what I mean? I don't really want to spend money to just improve my rank, but I also don't want my crystals to go down. So like the way that I look at the game currently is the number of gems I have. If that keeps going up, then I am doing well in the game, and when it goes down, that tells me that I'm not playing as well or not playing better than my opponents. So do you want to pull that up real quick, Platt?
Yeah, the leaderboard.
Yeah. So if we look, there's three people basically smart. There's three people who are above like 2,900, and then it drops automatic all the way down to like 2,650. And there's a few people grouped between 2,650 and like 5K, right?
Like you can tell these
There's more
three
people.
are actively competing against each other in a way that no one that these people aren't, right? This is a huge, this
That's a big
big of an
disparity.
MMR gap is unheard of on the top ranks. At the top ranks, it's usually pretty close between first, second, third, fourth, fifth. Then it gets bigger and bigger the lower down you go. To have 300 MMR gap between third and fourth, which is over 10%, is absurd, actually.
Yes,
Sorry,
it is
continue.
absurd. And just to bring up, like me and Platt are separated by maybe like 700 or 800 right ranks with like 115 or 120 difference in MMR. So the difference of 120 is a pretty large gap in the
Yeah.
game. So to have a gap right there of like 2,500 is kind of nutty. Ooh, that's much better. And then if we go down further, you're gonna see like this group of people in between 26 and like 25 down to like number 8. They're kind of competing against each other.
Here's
Then
the
when
guy
we
that
get
made
into
the
this
post as well,
24.
just
Yep,
as
that's
relevant.
the guy who made the post. 25, we get down to 24, 23, all the way. That gets us all the way down to about like 25-ish. Then we're hitting 22. Now we're seeing lots of 22s, right? This is what we're talking about. We're expecting a normal distribution of MMR scores.
Hmm.
So it is a little bit suspicious of the top three people. That does not mean that they're using this. They could just be that much better than everyone else.
Like,
But what it
keep,
is it's an abnormality in a statistical distribution. So
let's keep in
they
mind
actually have to be
this,
way better than you think they have to have that gap.
yeah, this gap is bigger. This 300 gap is bigger than the difference between rank 4 and what, like rank 25. The rank between 3 and 4 is bigger than 4 and 25, which is very odd. Again, and I'm not saying that these people are doing it. I have no evidence, and I wouldn't even accuse them. And the fact is, even if you are spending your money to do this, it's not against any rules, and it is not like you have to be able to execute. This is only, you can only do this on day one. If you're bad at the game, you could refresh day one 6,000 times, get a perfect day one, and easily lose because you don't know what you're doing, right? So this, even though the thing that's important is that when you're at this rank, if you're going up against someone of equal skill level, if you have that little advantage of being able to reroll day one, you're going to win more frequently because you have an advantage. This is the competition. Sorry, this is the same thing people tell me in gotchas. They're like, whale, I could, it's whales don't have that much of an advantage because you could just outplay him. I'm like, yes, but you're assuming that you're more talented than them also. If they're on equal footing, which is eventually where MMR is supposed to get you, then the person with the advantage of that spent more money will have a better chance of being a higher rank because they have a little advantage. So again, I don't care what these people do, honestly, and I don't even know if they are, but I think that the system is something that needs to be addressed. We don't want to, one thing I do want to call out here, even though I think Pink Beaver is totally right to call this out. He said he called it out before in a different game. And he's given like a pretty good example. I do want to say the post comes off a little doomer to me, where it's like I hope that they're not trying to scheme us by siphoning money off the top. Like that's
Yeah.
a little conspiracy. I really think that they're selling, this is a closed beta. Everyone that's entered, they've already made millions of dollars on top of the fact that when the game launches, they're going to sell hero packs. This game's going to be monetized to hell. It's a free game. There's going to be a lot of monetization. They don't need to undermine their ranked system to steal 100 gems from the top 10% of players. So I don't think there's any like corruption going on here at all. I think it's genuinely a system they put in place to counter some sort of error causing people to lose MMR. Because can you imagine you spend 100 coins or whatever, 100 juice, you go in there, their servers explode, they lost all your runs, and now you went down 20 ranks and you lost 100 gems, and like that would be very frustrating. People would be hugely mad. So I think this was to combat that, and they were hoping people wouldn't find out, because who re-rolls after you spent currency, right? But they did.
I honestly don't even think it was designed on purpose. I think that they created an MMR ranking system, right? And I'm very familiar and used to be addicted kind of like elo systems and games. That's anybody who's played like chess or a competitive game knows that your world rankings are based off of some sort of elo or MMR system.
Mm-hmm.
And figuring out how to game that system is something that people at the top are always doing, right? So it's like I don't blame anyone if they were using this. It did cost them money, and honestly, like with how positive everybody in the top of the leaderboard is, they have a lot of currency. They're not actually spending money; they're just burning their currency that they've earned from getting so many 10 wins to get there in the first place. But
Yeah, because you're not
I
getting
think
up
it's
there with
just
that ungodly amount of 10 wins. Because 7
yeah.
wins, 8 wins, 9 wins at that level, 9 wins, even 10 wins with too many losses is going to make you drop. You have to get 10 wins fast. They're probably all playing aggro Vanessa because it's so strong so early. But um,
That's actually
yeah,
the bigger problem for me with the MMR system. So, like, yes, this will get fixed, absolutely. But with the MMR system, I really don't want it to encourage a certain playstyle or a certain hero, because it's going to be really hard to be in the top 10 if you don't play aggro Vanessa and you don't go as close to 10 and 0 as you can, right? Just because that's the way the system is made. And eventually, maybe we'll get individual MMRs based off of your record against your opponents, right? Which is more of an elo system, but like, and then that's something that we can kind of work with, right? Like a diminishing returns elo system so that it doesn't scale to infinity, because that's when you get the really big gaps between people, is because number one beats up on all the people that are below the top 1,000 infinitely, right?
yeah,
And because there's no pairings, we would have to make it so that it would be like a negative concentric rising. But anyway, the point is that I don't think they did this on purpose at all. I think it's just a mistake. And even if they did do it for the reason that Platt says, I think it's understandable, especially because originally you could not save a run in between patches, right?
okay.
So like you would lose your run if they did any kind of update or take the servers down and bring them back up, etc. So they've been able to fix that. They will fix this.
Yeah, I think step one, at least for me and my mindset, is like just all 10 wins, regardless of the day, are equal to each other in terms of it counts as. I mean, maybe I guess you can have it count towards opponents, but that that doesn't matter to me as much as it's like right now, if I won on day 10 by getting with 20 prestige, I climb quadruple of what I do normally. I went up like 350 ranks on one of my YouTube videos from getting a diamond 10 win, as opposed to I've actually lost ranks at a 10 win before. I've gained ranks at an 8 win before, so it's a little inconsistent depending on where you are, but that's not inconsistent. It's just your MMR. But the point is that if I get 10 wins by day 14 and I face the same, like roughly the same opponents as versus 10 wins on day 10, I don't think that should be a difference in MMR, because it incentivizes the wrong play style. Like you said, it incentivizes playing a more aggro all in early, and it even incentivizes you to play not necessarily optimally. Because in order to get 10 wins, like the perfect example, day one, Sterling shows up. This is a situation we all have happened. You sell your starting item because the really, really good silver item that isn't in your starting pool shows up. Like I'm just going to say pawn shop because that's the item I like finding. Or, land scraper, right? You sell your item, you get land scraper, you're going to lose the first fight because now I don't have any items. Maybe I got it at like the last Sterling was right before the PvP fight. And so now I'm going to lose because I just don't have anything. And they're playing, they've got a silver cannon, right? I have no chance. But I made the optimal play to win 10 wins in the long run by sacrificing day one. But the current way the MMR system is, you actually are going to get less MMR by playing better because you're not going to get 10 wins by day 10. So yeah, there's a bunch of little problems with it, but again, this is the whipped cream and the cherry. This is what affects people on a ranking list with no rewards. So this is not top priority. Getting the game balance, getting more characters, getting it monetized are all more important. I think fixing the re-rolling issue first is the most important, and then tweaking the MMR system. But I'm not saying what the
Yeah.
fuck are they doing. This is the game
No.
is, it's not even day one yet. But trust me, when the game fully comes out, I will be way more critical about stuff. But like this is literally in the they're still making it phase. And even though there's
Yeah.
only a couple months, also I don't want people to get watched 5 seconds of this video say it's early access. Why are you complaining? We're just bringing up stuff so they know what to look at. Like
Yeah.
we're just saying like, hey, these are issues. The balancing is wrong here. This is wrong there. Here are things that we think could be improved upon. And if they don't improve them because they like the way it is, it's their game, and the game's fun. But these are things that we just want to make sure they're aware of. And YouTube videos seem to be better to do that.
Yeah, definitely. You know, you know, the more it's a small community, the more that we talk about things through different mediums, right? We have a Reddit post now, we have this, it will start getting brought up to streamers, and it becomes more of a awareness to the community, and then therefore an awareness to the developers. Like you said, not a real priority. I mean, just to kind of make the people at the top feel a little bit better. Like we can patch the reroll. That should be pretty easy to do. Just make it so that if you decide to do that, you just like lose a bunch of rank, and then they will never do it.
And it
So,
doesn't even have to be a bunch. It just has to be like some, because on average, you want them like if you have to reroll, I don't know, like if someone wants to reroll once and risk it and lose a little bit, that's still probably bad. You probably want it to be significant enough to completely disincentivize it, where even if you got 10 wins the next day on day 10, it would not
it would
counteract
still
it.
be negative.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's kind of whatever the math is on that. Where if you do the 2 runs in a row, one reroll, then the next one's like the magic 10 runs, 10-0. You want it to be slightly negative. So yeah, I I believe in the devs. I know there's been like some trash talking, but I think the game is beautiful and wonderful, and I'm gonna give them a chance while we're in any kind of beta, closed beta, open beta, whatever it is. But when day one rolls around, I want a different MMR system in Legend. As of right now, no rewards, right? It's just bragging rights. And for those people who make money off of playing games, like it is kind of important to them. But like for me and Plat, it's not very important. Whether I'm number 1900 or I'm number 900, it's not going to change my life at all.
Exactly. Yeah.
When I go to work, no one knows what the Bazaar is, So, I'll be like, oh yeah, I've been really enjoying this game, the Bazaar. They're like, oh, I never heard of that.
Yeah.
And then,
They don't even know what
I
Baldur's
could
Gate
tell them
3
the
is.
number one in the world, and guess how interested they would be? Not interested at all.
Yeah.
I could say, yeah, I'm actually the best player in the whole world. No, they don't care.
Literally my coworkers would have no idea what Baldur's Gate 3 is. And that's literally one of the most popular games of the last decade. They wouldn't know what Breath of the Wild is, so let alone Bazaar. This is like 7 tiers below it in popularity. This is a niche version of a niche genre. Like TFT is, if you know auto battlers, you probably know TFT and then Hearthstone Battlegrounds, and then you'd be like, oh yeah, that Rain ad game. That's what you get, They're like, this game didn't get canceled. That's mostly what you'll hear. Let's take a look at where Laliette is. Also, Kriparian is not on the leaderboard, just so you know. It's because he's
on the leaderboard.
He's under
You
Crip.
just spelled it wrong.
I thought he's just under Crip, unless someone else is Crip. Crip is on
No,
page 2.
He's actually under Kriparian.
Okay. User Laliette, page 20, position 1984. So,
Yep.
Oh my God, your big brother. Wait,
My big brother?
Yeah. What year is the Big Brother book by Orwell? Orwell.
Oh, I don't know.
It's 1984, right? We're gonna look like.
Yeah, you're right. 1984 is the name of the book. Yes.
Yes. Okay. So you are Big Brother at 1246. You're tied. There's a lot of. Oh, how many? Actually, there's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 there, and you're at 1246. I've
played Mr. Bip a few times this week. Yeah.
And then where am I at? Per Platypus. I am position 1465. Right here. Also, Socket Beam, move the fuck over. I'm coming for you. Sir Corn, I'm coming for you. Let's take a look here. So I am like, yeah, here's the thing. Our MMR difference is 133. 133? No, 123. I don't know. Fucking math, whatever. Point is, we are 500 ranks apart. with like 100 something ranks. So the fact that there's a 300 gap between 3 and 4 is very weird. All right, how do you spell Kriparian? Is it two P's? Krip. All right, so Krip is just under Krip. He's position 176 with 1911 MMR. So keep in mind, he is one of the best players in the world. Maybe not literally the best, but he is one of the best without a doubt. And I guarantee this position is not even 100% accurate in the sense that he frequently streams hipster builds, right? He is not hard grinding for the top rank. So
yeah, he purposely bans like things that are too good.
And that is,
and if there's any bugs in the game, I can guarantee you everybody who wants to be like top whatever, they're using pufferfish with trebuchet, which I lost to twice today again. But you know, all these kind of things that break the
has to be a fire pufferfish, right? You have to get fire pufferfish.
Yeah, they get the flaming pufferfish, and they probably did not have a trebuchet until they got the flaming pufferfish. But yeah,
it's crazy. I
but
actually
they might pick it up early and leave it in their chest, right?
And so this is an incredibly impressive rank for playing meme builds and not using anything bug banning OP items. So I mean, Kriparian is still arguably the best player in the world, I think, because most of these people are playing hard, you know, especially Gotcha Lover.
Yes.
This guy, what is he doing here? All right.
Well, when I think about the fact that he rotates between all three heroes, right? So normally, if you're going to be atop the ladder, you're going to play the best hero every time, regardless, right? That's how you're going to climb.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's anybody who's better at the entire game at playing all three heroes and being able to still win without playing the best things.
And this is not a video about glazing on Kriparian, but I think it was just relevant to look up his leaderboard status, and I was kind of curious to see ours as well. But yeah, so currently when we say the Bazaar is pay to win, it's pay to play. That's a fact. You can't play it without paying, I suppose, unless you get someone else's thing. But the top, if you want to be the most competitive player in the Bazaar possible right now, and you really want to get to rank 1 or attempt to get to rank 1 or as high as you can spend money to increase your odds. You'll have a slight advantage, not even slight. Being able to reroll for a perfect day 1 is pretty big, as opposed to especially on some of these like dually runs where you just like, what the fuck? None of these things do anything together. They're all opposite. You know, you get the companion core and then not a single friend the entire first day. You get just like, you know what? Abort this for $1. I'm out. I'm not in it. Or Pygmalion, you know, it's just like you get your starting items. You get fucking the pepper spray, the brass knuckles, and not even the succulent, something worse than the succulent. I don't know. And you're just like, I'm out. I don't want this. But the game is not like, there's no advantage to really being that high up unless it's your life, in terms of, you know, your compensation is tied to it. So for the most part, it's not like a holy shit, fix this now thing, but it is something that I would definitely like to see addressed if they want to have competitive integrity, which the game doesn't really, I think, care about that much, but players care about it. And so they care about it to the extent that players want to at least be able to have a fair MMR system.
Yes. And if you do want to be able to play the Bazaar and you don't want to have to pay for it, then you should join our giveaway. So we're doing a giveaway this week, and you can get yourself one code or whatever by doing what, Platt?
So we did a podcast yesterday, as of this video coming out. And so all you got to do is watch that video and then you comment. You don't have to watch it, but you have to click on the video at the very least. And you have to subscribe and leave a comment. Just those two things. And then when we're recording the next podcast, right before we record, we'll pick the winners. And I'm going to reach out to the winners before the podcast goes live, just because I have an issue with people making fake accounts, pretending to be that person, trying to get free stuff. I've been scammed before because I'm not that smart. And I thought it doesn't matter. That's a different story. Point is, we will reach out to you. But yeah, yesterday's video, I'll put a link down in the description. Just leave a comment and be subscribed to the channel. And then you have a chance to win a key. So Bazaar, you can never complain about it being pay to win because you didn't pay. All right. You don't deserve to win. I'm kidding. That's a joke. All right. Anything else, Lolly, yet?
No. For Lolatopus, this is per platypus.
That's right. We'll see you in the next one. See you on the flip-flops. Bye.
On the rise, watch the views go up. Content king, never down, always show